guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be reacting to...
Here's who will win Eurovision 2025.
From the release of this video, we will have a brand new Eurovision winner. After months of following every national selection, every controversy, and every performance, it's time to answer the vital question. Who is winning Eurovision 2025? Last year, there were a few different contenders, and I ultimately called it correctly for Switzerland. This year, there is a clear favourite, so we're going to talk about them and also the songs that could potentially upset their party. As always, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy it, and you can find my socials and how to financially support me in the description. Quickly before we start, one thing that has
Sweden?
really frustrated me is that my mobile phone provider doesn't provide
It's Sweden?
No, you asked me. That's my opinion. What do you think?
I'm just here.
roaming services as standard. So if I needed to use my phone while I'm at Eurovision in Basel, I'd have to pay extortionate daily charges. Luckily, today's sponsor as to activate my eSIM for 3 different countries, and once again, make sure you offer your first clear favorite to win.
I don't understand why.
What?
I don't understand why though.
Why Sweden? People like the song.
Why?
You have to ask them. I don't know. They like it.
Next week in Basel. Given that you've seen them already on the thumbnail of this video, you can probably tell who that is. I promise we will build up to them, but in order to get there, there's 4 other songs that might spoil that particular
Do you think because it's like a
going
novelty song? Because it's like a song about faunas?
No, I don't think that people don't understand what the song is about, so it doesn't matter what the song is about.
So it's based on the sound?
Yeah, I think they just like the sound.
And it's catchy?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I guess then they said it's sauna. But aside from that,
talk about those first.
This was filmed before rehearsal stuff. For what it's worth, I have not yet seen it to change my opinion to preempt any artist.
Oh well, no. If you've seen the rehearsals, some of the people, they drastically improve.
We're starting with Austria. That's JJ with his song Wasted Love. Last year, we had a winner in Nemo that used operatic elements to great effect. Austria saw that and went, yeah, let's do that as well. In fairness to them, Austria
I
is
see that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we kind of said too.
Opera what Italy is to pasta and Denmark is to not qualifying. They are truly the masters of it. It's very hard to argue that anyone does it better. JJ has come out of one of the world's most prestigious opera houses as well, so at the very least, we know that this vocal is going to be perfect. Where he particularly distinguishes himself here is in his incredible range. The highest note in this song is a C-sharp 6, and if you include the chopped vocals in the last 30 seconds or so, you can push that up to an E6. If you want to know how impressive this is, try to hit a C-sharp 6 now. I will wait. Exactly. There are still a few question marks to be answered over this entry though. Firstly, in terms of the genre and the vocal. Not in the sense that he might not hit the notes, because we've got plenty of evidence to show that he's going to be able to do that.
Wait, so what kind of competition is this? A singing competition, right?
Yeah.
So it's about the...
No, not singing competition. It's a song competition.
It's a song competition.
Yes.
So who has the best song?
Yeah,
I wonder what is that composed of?
Initially, it started as the song contest, but now it's more about performance
Performance
contest.
too?
And coming from his background and with his training, it's very unlikely that they'll let his vocal burn out before the final. The problem is, more basically, that some people just don't simply connect with opera music all that well. I'm not convinced that this is going to have a huge potential impact, because all you need is a thin wedge of voters to be very passionate about your song in order to still do well with the public. But with that in mind, knowing what else is coming in this video, it's going to make it very, very difficult for Austria to finish high enough with the televoters to score enough points to win. In addition to that,
I do think it's going to be in the top. Why does he sound like it's not going to be on the top?
No, I think it's going to be high because it's going to score really high with the jury. Just for that reason, it's going to be high. I don't think it's going to win for similar reasonings that he's saying that, you know, I don't think
But
the
there's
song is
elements in it that kind of takes it away from not only being an opera song.
It's
I
not
feel
an
like he
opera
made it a
song.
little bit modern.
It is modern, it is, but I don't feel like it resonates with people like that. And
the only thing is just I don't have like a permanent visual of what happens in this performance. I just know he's gonna hit that note.
yeah, the visual too, it's kind of based on the rehearsal that we've seen. A little
it seems like he has no personality for the person who's like checking for people's personality. Like,
I didn't really get anything out of this rehearsal.
yeah.
Not saying it
What do you
was
think?
bad, because we didn't really get. It's just we didn't get nothing. It wasn't the iconic one, which I understand he didn't want to show it, so I get that. But it's kind of hard to say, oh wow, this is really good. It just wasn't that. It was.
His performance is gonna be a
Meh.
surprise. We're gonna see his
Yeah,
performance
it's
for
gonna
the
be a
first
surprise.
time.
Yeah.
Really deeply hope that the Austrian delegation have a plan for how they are going to stage the last 30 seconds of this song. We get an unexpected breakdown here with a dance beat to close out, but JJ hasn't been singing the chopped vocals that accompany this section in the performances that he's done so far. To be fair, the pre-party stages haven't really allowed for anything too complex to be done on the staging front or on the sound production front. But if, when you get to the peak of the song, the lead singer visibly stops singing for 20 seconds, that could be jarring and it could cost this a lot of points. On the positive side though, there is
I
no
think
doubt
he's
that this
saving
is
his
going to
voice.
score extremely well with the juries and potentially even win the jury vote outright. It has all of the elements it needs to feed into all of the criteria that the juries vote on. Those are composition and originality of the song, quality of the performance, on-stage vocal capacity of the performers,
Okay.
and overall impression of the act. Hopefully the vocal
Okay, so
capacity in this case is obvious.
that's what we're looking for. That's what we're looking for. Can you go back once again? Vocal capacity. So when you think of Barabastu in fitting these guidelines,
And no vocal capacity. Performance on the stage, yes. The composition and
yes.
originality of the song, yes. And overall impression of the act, yes. So Bada Bada Basto has 3 out of 4. And now, if you want to say JJ, for example, vocal capacity, yes. The performance on the stage, question mark. Composition and originality, not that
everyone's
original.
referring to Nilo.
Yeah, not that
so
original.
I don't know if it's can be original.
I wouldn't give it like it's somewhat original, but it's not like, oh my god, I've never heard anything like it. And then the overall impression by the act, well, that also depends on performance on the stage, so has yet to be seen.
The only thing I can give him is like he's an opera act
that's-
doing this.
That's why I said
So
number
maybe
one.
a
Yes.
little bit a little bit of originality coming from there in that sense to make opera modern.
Okay.
Oh,
That's a nice touch.
Vocal capacity of the performers and overall impression of the act. Hopefully the vocal capacity in this case is obvious, so we can tick that one off straight away. When it comes to the quality of the performance, JJ is almost certainly going to deliver vocally, so we can probably put a tick in this box as well. This song is certainly original, but whether it will be appreciated as such is another matter.
Well,
It's entirely
there's a caveat to that because he said there's 20 seconds that he's been holding off from. I think he's going to be able to deliver it, but you never know what's going to happen on the stage.
Potential that a cynical juror could attempt the sudden change at the end simply as an attempt to try and tick off this category. Finally, there's overall impression of the act, which to be honest could mean literally anything. All this does is add a load of noise that makes my job here way, way harder. Basically, it means the jurors can do whatever they want and ignore the previous criteria if they so wish. Despite the caveats I've outlined here though, we're still in a pretty solid position. Overall, a win in the jury vote and a televote that isn't too turned off by operatic vocals could see this rise to the very top of the
Yeah,
pile.
that last
That is
category
provided they
is
have a
very
staging that makes the
subjective.
last 30 seconds work. Let's see what they've got. If there's one other contender who definitely won't have a problem ticking the originality box, it's the next song in this video. That is Erika Vikman from Finland with her song Ish, Comma. I made an entire video dedicated to the idea that this song could win Eurovision, so if you've watched that video, you probably have some idea what I'm going to say. In the few months since that video, I have seen nothing to turn me off from the idea that she could still win it all. I'm going to mostly focus though on the elements that have changed in some way, or the new information that we've learned since I made that last video. There's no point saying the same things twice. Plus, that gives you a reason to go and watch that one after you've watched this. The key thing we've learned since last time is that this does have what it takes to go from a really exciting studio version into an incredible live performance. I really didn't know what we were going to get.
She knows where her cameras are. She knows where to position. She's really good at that with the
Ahead of
staging.
UMK, and I was excited but nervous, knowing that it could so easily go wrong. All of my fears rapidly dissipated when I saw Erika Vikman riding atop a giant microphone with sparks shooting out of it. Every expectation I had here was massively exceeded. This is seriously staged perfectly, and provided that the core principles are staying the same, and the information we have so far suggests that they will be, we are really onto something special here. The team at the Finnish national selection already realized that when you have someone with the stage presence and charisma of Erika Vikman, you have to give her space to shine. Because of that, a large proportion of the staging as we know it so far has been geared towards simply allowing Erika to flourish on stage by herself. The first 2 minutes of that live performance that we've seen
And
has
that budget
nothing
to
but
shine
Erika.
because
No
you have to have the budget to have this all set up because from what I've seen with others, if not too many people came with staging.
Mommy neither did she though. Her
Well-
stage was empty.
He's saying about the microphone.
Dad was in Finland. We didn't see no microphone here.
Oh, I don't know if it's not gonna make an appearance.
I don't know
from the clip that we
but
saw.
based on what we saw, it was as empty as others. So to me, that's
Yeah, wait. I'm
I'm just
basing this
saying.
off if she brings the microphone or not.
Well, she has
Okay.
to bring the mic. Yeah, without the
Okay.
mic, it's because that mic was kind of
Uh-huh.
the epic
I thought that was
moment.
the whole point of the performance too, as well, was that
Hmm.
microphone and the fire and everything. Her on
Yeah,
it.
I'm just saying like the snippet
You
we
don't think
saw.
she don't think she has it?
She probably should, but in the snippet we saw it, there was nothing on the
Okay.
stage. So
Props, just her and a mic stand. It fits the song perfectly to transition from this into the absolute madness that breaks out in the last minute. And if this stayed exactly the same as it was on UMK, it would already be a contender. That said, if there's anything we've learned, that when it comes to the Finns, I'm thinking specifically about Kärja in 2023 here, when they know they're onto something good, they take their concept and they develop it even further. That will surely be the same here. With the staging question answered, we then turn to the vocal performance, and there's more good news to come for Erica in this way too. At the national selection, Erica's in-ear monitors failed and she couldn't hear herself for any of the performance. Despite this, she still smashed it, and she'll only improve at Eurovision when she doesn't
That's
have that
good.
problem holding her back. There's been an argument made that this is too sexual, and as a result, it could turn off juries and televoters alike. This was another fear that, in my opinion, was largely dispelled at the national selection. It was risque, but it didn't turn off the public, and this was a public who understood everything she was saying. At the actual contest, most people will only understand Ich komme and Wunderbar. The more salacious stuff is locked away in a Finnish-shaped box. Overall, every
I
question
feel
about
like
this that I had,
if they had any issues, they would ask her, you need to modify your lyrics or performance like they did with Malta.
yeah.
every worry, every obstacle that stood between it and contending for the win has been answered already. This has big public vote potential, and it has big potential with the juries too. That means that in a world where Sweden underperforms with the juries but wins the televote, combined with a solid second or third place for Finland in both categories, all of a sudden Erica could find herself at the top of the table. Maybe we will finally get that Eurovision experience in Tampere that Finns are so desperate to give us. Next up is another song that we've talked about before, and that is France. They've sent Luan with her song Maman.
Finland never won.
They have it, Lordy.
Oh.
Hard Rock Hallelujah.
I did really deep dive both into this and into Austria's song in a previous video where I talked about if a ballad could win Eurovision this year, so I would encourage you to watch that video later as well if you haven't already. I'm going to try again to not talk too much about the same things that I talked about in that video though. Maman is a powerful ballad that's dedicated in different ways both to her mother and her daughter, and there are a few key strengths here that take it from a potential high finisher into a potential winner. The song itself is a French chanson in a similar mold to Slimane or Barbara Pravi. While that's proven to be a successful mold, it hasn't generated a win and it's not enough by itself. Both Slimane and Barbara were exceptional live performances, and the evidence we have so far luckily suggests that Luan is as well. That reliable bass plus a strong performer probably equals a great result. What's even more key to this though is the universality of the message. A good ballad is fine, but if there's no message underneath it, it's just a good ballad. Grief and parenthood are things that almost everyone understands in some way. In addition to that, the simplicity of the hook, which is simply the word maman, secures the most basic level of understanding in everyone's minds. The biggest opportunity and also the biggest risk of this song lies in how well this universality can be put across. This song, because it's sung in French and for the most part won't be understood immediately by the audience, needs its story to be told visually as well. This is the big question mark because we haven't yet seen this in an environment where it's been possible to tell that kind of visual story. The French delegation, I am sure, understand that they need to do this, and they will have something special lined up for us on the Eurovision stage. For that reason, I am choosing to remain optimistic that we're going to get what we need here. Beyond that, the argument for this basically goes the same way as Austria. It has to win the jury, and then it has to pull enough public votes along to cancel out any advantage that Sweden or whoever else has on that side. That said, I do think this has slightly more televote potential because of that universality than Austria does. This is very much the Nemo or the Loreen route to victory, but with a very different type of song, and we are yet to see whether that is possible for something of this style. This could well finally be their year though. We have one more song to talk about before we get to Sweden, and this is...
That's interesting. I do, while I personally don't feel what he described, I did look at the odds, and they are third in the odds, France. So what he is saying is, it gotta be true, right? If it's the odds makers, they know what they're doing. They don't just put odds for no reason. So yeah, France. I mean, to me, the song wasn't all that. Maybe she's gonna put up like phenomenal performance like Slimane did. That might change my opinion. But based on what we saw in the song, it was any other ballad, like nothing special about it. So I don't know.
Probably the least likely in this video to win the contest. That said, you really can't rule it out, so we do need to talk about it. That's Claude from the Netherlands with his song C'est la vie. One thing this video hasn't had so far is a modern, catchy pop song that's slick and well produced and can pull high scores on both the jury and the televote side. That is this song. The hook of this is really nicely done because it's instantly memorable, it's understandable through a universally known expression, and it's singable as well. You only have to hear this once or twice in the song before it's stuck in your head, and by the end of it, you're probably singing along with it. If a lot of viewers get to the end of the show and this is the thing they remember, then that is probably where their vote is going to go as well. Claude himself is a massive asset to the performance. His energy and his enthusiasm are infectious, and he's one of the most charismatic performances of the show this year. Most of the time, most people's energy gets absorbed by the camera. As a result, their full personality doesn't come across. It takes talent for that to be communicated, and Claude does that expertly. This has previously played massively in favor of acts like Sam Ryder in 2022. The same could happen for Claude as well. In my opinion, this probably doesn't have enough to win either the jury vote or the televote. Once again, that means we're looking at a second or third place in both style of winner. This was actually how the Netherlands won last time in 2019 as well. In my opinion though, the jury and the televote are going to have to sharply disagree on all of the other songs in this video in order for that to happen. If it did, I would love it. I just think it's not that likely. That's because there's no path that leads to more than 450 to 490 points for this. For context, the last time a song won with under 500 was 2019. And in that year, Duncan Lawrence scored 498. It is doable, and in the most extreme of examples, Azerbaijan in 2011 won with what would have been 405 points in the system that has been in use since 2016. What this means is, yes, it's difficult, but Claude is still definitely in with a shout. It's time to talk about the big favourite, but before I do,
Yeah, I like Claude. I'd love for him to win. I don't know though. It in the odds is not like that high. That's why I take the odds. I feel like odds makers are generally correct for like the 1 or 2 play. So
I think also the caveat of using like a common phrase is that it's a common song. But it's not too unique.
but at the same time, people understand it and it gets stuck in their head versus something that
That's why it's like, to me, it could go either way.
interesting. He brought in Claude. I kind of thought he would maybe bring in Zierm as the last option or Malta, Kant, but he brought in Claude, so that's interesting. So those songs have no chance according to him.
I'm legally obliged to mention one of my stranger takes of the season. Tweeted at 3 o'clock in the morning after a night out in
Lithuania,
Tallinn that Lithuania was a dark horse to win the entire contest. This then made its way onto Lithuanian news.
Dariau interviu, pokalbį, podcastą su vienu populiariausiu pasaulyje Eurovizijos YouTuberiu, ESC Gabe. Tai labai kviesiu visus žiūrovus vakare įsijungti tą podcastą, taip, kol kas jis dar montuojamas, 2/3 sumontuota, bet Geibas mane visiškai nustebino. Jis pasakė, kad aš matau...
We're never gonna be featured on this show. Wait.
Listen,
What's this? Good Morning Lithuania?
yeah, it's Good Morning.
Oh
Looks
no.
like it, yeah. Listen, it is what it is. That's my opinion. I'm not gonna fake it. For them to like me, okay?
Kaip Lietuva net galėtų laimėti Euroviziją. Aš sakau, o tai kaip čia taip? Niekas tokių lūkesčių.
At this point, I feel pretty much obligated to stand by this.
Is he telling the truth? Or what happened here? Was it miscommunication or what's going on?
He's basically reciting his tweet, saying what he said in the tweet. He said Lithuania is the dark horse candidate. So the guy said that, Lithuania could win. That this EST Gabe said that Lithuania could win it.
No matter what all logic is saying to me at this point, and in the extremely unlikely event that I am proven right, I will ask you to totally forget this section and that I ever doubted my drunken wisdom. Now I've got that out of the way, it's time to talk about Sweden.
He was drunk.
Yeah, Lithuania is a borderline qualifying. Lithuania is not a winning performance. Like, they should be happy if they qualify. Not it. If they were in the semifinal 1, I would say they're qualifying. In semifinal 2, it's a hard semifinal. This competition and stuff. I think if Lithuania is qualifying, they're gonna be like 9th or 10th spot, maybe 8th at best. So, but anyway.
Kai with their song Bara Bara Bastu. We have truly come full circle in the Eurovision fandom, because how have we ended up in a situation where everybody is rooting for Sweden? I am seriously struggling to find a single person who doesn't love this song or at the very least doesn't find themselves rooting for these guys because they're just so likable. It seems all it took for Sweden to become the plucky, lovable rogues of Eurovision was to find some Finns. For those of you just joining us and who haven't seen my video on Sweden that I did earlier in the year, allow me to
wild
briefly
to
explain what I
me.
explained at length in that video. Basically, the producer of Melodifestivalen, which is the Swedish national selection, personally invited Kai to participate this year. They had to add a songwriter with Swedish citizenship in the form of Anders Wrethov in order to qualify for the competition. That's because Kai are not Swedish. They are from the Swedish-speaking region of Finland. After all the artists in the show were announced, they were last in the odds, and alongside everyone else, seemed powerless to stop the runaway nothing burger train of Måns Zelmerlöw. Then we saw the
Oh,
performance,
yeah, I
and in
forgot
a
about
flash,
him.
everything flipped on its head. The nothing burger train had derailed, and now sits on a bonfire alongside the rest of Måns Zelmerlöw's marriage. In all seriousness, ever since, Barabarabastu has been top of the Swedish and the Finnish charts. It's turned into a Käärijä-esque phenomenon in both countries, and in turn has swept away all of the competition in its path, thereby ensuring the maximum level of head loss among Swedish pop men. Since then, Kai have felt
You
like a
know,
juggernaut that has
for
just moved.
me, what is interesting is that knowing that Sweden and Ireland are both tied for amount
Yeah.
of wins. So it's wild that, okay, given that they say, oh, everyone chooses for the song to win, the real best song to win, that there's no strategy involved, that in this case, I would think strategy would apply the most if you're trying to prevent a country from getting the most wins out of Eurovision.
Why would anyone prevent a country to? You focus on you winning. You're not focused on preventing somebody else.
Then what happens with this? That's what I'm saying. Now, okay, when it comes to voting,
Okay.
for example, Latvia would not vote for Lithuania.
Yeah, we see that.
Or you see
Well,
like
I'm confused. What point are you trying to make?
or you see like a block, there's like a voting block,
Right,
how
yes.
everyone strategically votes
Mhm.
because there's like a teamwork and it's
Uh-huh.
not about the best song. So in this case, everyone's just handing the win over.
The
to
Sweden.
Sweden.
Well, if they have the best song, yeah, they will win.
So that's everyone's thoughts. That's the best song.
Yeah.
Well, this is a boring Eurovision.
Nobody's thinking about, oh, let's not make this country
I
win
want it
because
to
they
be a
have
fight.
like. Well, there should be a fight technically between Austria and Sweden, but it doesn't seem likely.
No,
I
it
don't think it's
doesn't
gonna
at
be a fight. I
all.
think it's gonna be Sweden, and that's it. Austria just
Like we're
to-
gonna
to-
see in the votes, gonna go Sweden,
I
because this
think
is gonna
so.
be 3-4 hours just for it to. Let's give it. To
I think
Sweden.
it's gonna be Sweden too. I don't think it's particularly close either.
Moved step by step further and further ahead of the rest of the field. The hype has carried and carried, and the momentum in the Nordics has not abated at all. In addition, this is now the single most streamed song from this year's competition. There's a few reasons why this went from a narrow leader in the odds just after the national selection to a position as strong as Lorene's before Eurovision week in 2023. One of those is the hype that I've just described, but there's a whole bunch of other elements that are coming together to make this a potential Eurovision winner. The first is that Kai are just absolute experts at what they do, and selling a silly song about saunas is just about the most up their street thing that you could possibly imagine. Making funny music that people actually enjoy unironically on a wide scale is really difficult. And the risk of getting a song that basically goes, look at us, we're so funny and random, is so high. Kai have, of course, avoided
Yeah,
this.
this
And
is a
based on what
hard
I've
song to beat because it's super catchy, very easy to sing along if you're not even
Yeah, if you
understanding the
yeah,
language.
I don't know what the fuck I'm singing, but I'm singing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it's
the visuals are also is very appealing, eye appealing to it.
visually,
with like a
yes.
dance to it too.
Like out of all the rehearsals we've seen, like
Mm-hmm.
their performance legit seems the most interesting. A lot of empty spaces, of the stage for other performances. For them, they have a little staging. There's a little stand up, sit down, stand like stuff going on the stage. The
And they
song
look
is
forward to that
catchy.
guy to say Sona.
Yeah, like this. Is it like it's not a song I would listen to, but it's catchy. It gets stuck in your head.
I've
I
seen
feel like I
over
would listen to this song if like I'm trying to work because I feel like it's like a chant that makes you want to work and maybe chop wood.
No, I don't know. No, the song, as I said, this year's I don't listen to any of the song this year's. For me, this year's weak compared to last year. But out of that weak selection, I do think Barabastu is the best one.
the last couple of months, these guys are like Weird Al Yankovic level of good in this field. Like, seriously, these guys made a cover of Nessun
You
Dorma
see,
about...
Weird Al Yankovic.
Yes.
Is he novelty or is he an artist? Like, what do people consider
Novelty.
it? So this is like a novelty song.
Yeah, of course it's a novelty song.
But when I say it, you're like, what are you talking about?
What do you mean?
Because I said this is a novelty song, and you're like, what are you talking about?
I don't remember.
Pulling a Nissan out of a ditch in winter.
Because I say, is this a song contest or not? And do
Yes.
novelty songs like should be like, I don't know, part of that
Novelty
situation?
songs count though. His cat says gnarly novelty song. Yes. Do you like it? Yes.
That's
And this is
different.
what it is.
He's gonna go into a Eurovision and compete. Like, okay, what's another? Like, for example, Windows
Karius
90.
Cha Cha
No,
Cha is a novelty
okay,
song.
but Windows 95 also give me a
Novelty song.
novelty
Yes.
song.
Yes.
So how we kind of draw the line here?
Draw a line on what?
Okay, Karia
Yes.
versus Windows 95.
Okay. What do
The
you mean
song.
versus?
So where we
They-
draw the line, because
What line- what are you
one
talking
is a
about? What line
winning
are we
song, one is a
drawing?
winning song, and one is a song that doesn't place as well.
Well, with what people resonate and what they like. Windows 95, I guess it wasn't catchy enough. Versus Karia Cha 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 was catchy.
I think Cha 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 is very simple. Like, it's very simple, easy.
So is Bada Bada Bust.
Yeah. So now we're not encouraging like complex songs, like thought out songs. Like, for example, that Albania song where you're just trying to get to that 1 minute and you saw the theories and everything that went behind how you're never achieving to that moment. It's very complex, beautiful song, very thought out.
Yeah, but
So the next song next year is gonna be what? Everyone's gonna be going to that style of novelty.
Albania cannot win because of their
No,
size.
but no, I'm
It's
just
that
saying in
simple.
general, like with the type of songs that are winning the competition, like what are we moving to in terms of
We're
direction?
not moving anything. This year is pretty weak
Mm-hmm.
year, and when we get a novelty song that's gonna win. Like, there's no strong songs this year. Like, to me, I mean, Claude's songs I would say is pretty strong, but it just doesn't seem like it's resonating with people like that.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from that, I don't know. Like, it's a weak year.
This is seriously a masterpiece, and once you're done here, I really recommend taking a few minutes out of your day to listen to it in full. They later did another version of this as well, but with lyrics centered around the time-honored tradition of Finns going to Estonia to buy cheap beer. Focusing back on the task at hand, this actually nicely leads me to my next point. That is the Nessun Dorma cover, not buying cheap beer in Estonia. As very well demonstrated in that cover, these guys can really sing. They're not just some funny men pretending to be musicians here. They are seriously talented vocalists and seriously talented performers. And they stand alongside the rest of the competition here on merit. The operatic vocals of that Nessun Dorma cover are so good that there are actual trained opera singers in the comments expressing their surprise at how good it is. As a result, we hop over one potential...
But that's not the song that's submitted to be judged for the competition. I'm pretty sure these guys are very, very talented, but the focus is like their work outside of what's actually being reviewed.
Yeah.
Potentially big jury-related hurdle. Their vocals are simply too good to push them down on that front. They perform this so well, and they sound great while they're doing it. All of this comes together in the way they've staged the song, which is delightfully silly, but also really slick at the same time. At the less serious end, they literally cook sausages and build a sauna on stage. But at the same time, underneath this, it has all of the slickness that we've seen for years from Swedish productions. Many entries of this type fall victim to a kind of disorganized chaos when we see them on the Eurovision stage. Here, the opposite is true. Perhaps the simplest factor of all is that this is simply a great song. It's catchy, you can sing along on the first listen, even if you don't speak Swedish, and it makes you want to dance, and go to the sauna, obviously. There really is nobody else at this stage who can challenge Sweden for the televote victory in May. And in the jury, there's not really a world at the moment that I can see where they're doing so significantly badly that their televote score doesn't carry them to the victory overall. That said, this is far from sewn up, and all of the other songs in this video
I feel like
could
this is a
surpass
clean,
them in the
easy
right
win, and it's a wrap.
I think so too.
circumstances. At the end of the day, there is only one way to find out. I will be there in Basel to go on this journey with you, and I'm delighted to announce we will be streaming every day of Europe.
Yeah, for me, takes a little interest
Where's
out
the
of competition when
Yeah.
it's so predictable.
Yeah.
Like even last year, it was kind of between two songs, Croatia and Switzerland. That was like it wasn't even
No, we had the drama with Netherlands.
okay. That
That
was a
was
little
very
drama, but
exciting for my first Eurovision.
yeah. But aside from that, it was like quite predictable. So it kind of like
Yeah.
takes the point like
Is
why are
it?
we watching this? Because we already know the
Yeah.
winner. It's
What's
would
this?
be more fun if it was like three four-way
Mm-hmm.
tie, like not tie, but like
Yeah.
really close. There's not clear winner. It would be
Yeah.
more fun that way.
It's like annoying when people say, "Oh, Lakers at 5." It's like, are you think it's gonna be a sweep like that? Like,
But
no.
they lost, so
I know. That's why it's so interesting to like
yeah.
if we see like more of a fight, like who is it really gonna come down to? Like, I don't know who's gonna win. That's like the whole joy of a competition.
Yeah, it takes away from the watching, like from
Mm-hmm.
the excitement of watching the competition when you it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
predetermined almost.
And it also creates a narrative for people. Why even bother to vote? They
It does. It does.
won.
Yeah, it creates a narrative. Why even bother to
Yeah.
watch? Well,
Or
mm,
you don't think so?
it's just
You don't think so? I want someone to talk, some smack and be like, "No, what do you mean? It's gonna go to Sweden. It's us." Like I want to see more of a fight. Like,
yeah. But when we see all the the polls, the
mm-hmm,
uh, odds makers, the betting favorites, it's kind of on when it goes overwhelmingly one way.
mm-hmm. I'm gonna be gagged
You
if it goes
gotta
another.
be
Would you be gagged?
if it
It
was.
goes another way. I would be
I
gagged.
mean, I would be gagged if Netherlands won it, but as far as if it's between Austria and Sweden, I wouldn't be gagged. If France wins, I would be looking okay,
Mm.
interesting. Wouldn't like be gagged, but I
A
would
lot of
be slightly
conversations gonna
surprised.
happen. It's gonna be a lot of ups. Like, oh
Um,
my God, Sweden was projected to win. They had the votes. They had like kind of like the election.
yeah,
Because I wonder if it's like in a vacuum because a lot of people are in this vacuum. So maybe your attitude is, oh, it's going to be this person who wins. But then there can be an
yes,
upset.
but also vacuum is true, but it's not just vacuum because we see the streams and the song is also
Mm-hmm.
most streamed out of all of the songs.
Mm-hmm.
For it to reach that result, it has to go beyond just Eurovision fan base.
Mm-hmm.
So if it wasn't the most streamed, if it was just the most, like kind of like Albania, right? Albania is very highly favored by Eurovision people.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, but among general population, it just isn't really streaming. People don't know about it, don't talk about it like that. But the Eurovision fans, they're dying by it. And that's why,
Mm-hmm.
Albania is cute, but it's not gonna win because it doesn't extend past Eurovision fan base. This song, it does. And like
Mm-hmm.
to be fair, same with JJ. JJ doesn't extend past Eurovision fan base. Is he gonna get carried by the jury to the victory? Maybe. I don't know. But do they want to basically take a Nemo and back-to-back years, kind of the same type of stuff? Also, do you want that? Maybe not. Maybe do something
Mm-hmm.
else. I don't know.
Can I see the comments for him?
Sure. Try to hit a C. No, whatever. My delusional ass is still hoping for Albania to win.
Same.
I understand that Sweden and Austria are the ones to beat, but what's Armenia doing there? I thought Garg's song wasn't that popular this year. What? He didn't say nothing about Armenia.
um.
Oh, like, wow.
Maybe she could click this one.
Locked away in a Finnish shaped box. But I'd love Albania to win. So humble of Duncan to talk about his win in 29. He's saying he looks like Duncan. Mm.
Hmm. I'm strongly supporting Lithuania this year, so thank you for making them happy on TV. To be honest, they deserve it. Aww. Lithuania mentioned. Woo. Okay. Guys, of course, let us know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord. And Zoe, Zoe, Zoe's. Share as much kindness as possible.